привет, друзья! С вами снова Денис, канал Wonderful World. Мы продолжаем с вами наше путешествие по Камбодже. Сейчас я нахожусь в часе езды от города Кампот. Я прибыл на одну из плантаций, где выращивают разные сорта перца камбоджийского. Hello, how are you? Good? Возле плантации, друзья, расположено такое кафе, где можно попить водички, покушать. А также здесь есть бесплатные экскурсии по самим плантациям, которые проводят волонтеры иностранцы.
French people arrived here around the 1819 and they came and they wanted to do some paper because paper was really like the luxury in France, and they used to import around like 8 tons in France and in all the Europe, and then they left in 1954. And after that, do you know about like Khmer Rouge, Khmer Red? No, like it was like a new government and they killed a lot of people and they destroyed everything.
Ah, Pol Pot.
Yes.
Yeah.
There is a plantation and they destroyed everything.
What's your name?
Justine.
I'm Dennis.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. Christina.
Justine.
Justina.
Yes, really French.
French name.
So as I tell you, we lost everything and they killed the people who did paper. So we needed to try new way to do paper. So you can see there is two different way here.
Yeah.
Because we needed to learn new thing and because we lost everything. So here there is method from Vietnam and there is 6 plants around. But it's not efficient here because there is, you need to know the Kampot paper is only bio. So we can't give to the ground more than water. So six plants, it's too much. We can see there is not a lot of pepper around inside.
Yeah.
So we tried new one, this one.
So this is old and this is new one.
Yes, but it's not the best one. Actually, we'll see later the best one.
Oh.
So yeah, you can see, but there is 2 plants here, and the problem is that the water is on the plants, like really around. So when it's raining, there is water all the time, and so it's not efficient for the paper. People think like paper is a tree, but no. In the nature, they used to go up around the tree, but there is a plant. So it's for that you can watch it here. And normally it's been until 11 centimeters high, but we need to do smaller because people are too small to take paper. So we just cut the head, and it's for that we put that here. It's because we wanted no sun here and sun there. So you understand me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I totally understand.
Do you know something about paper, like maybe colors?
Yeah, they have like black pepper,
Yes.
white pepper, and red.
Exactly. And the whole comes from this one.
So there are what kind of? It's just one pepper, but it can become different color.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you can see here there is white paper.
White.
And it's
red.
because of the maturity of the plants.
Okay.
So we start with green paper, so it's a fresh one. You can eat it only 2-3 days after we take it off. And then we have like a wet paper, so it's with more maturity. And for the black paper, we just need to dry it on the sun. And when you dry green one on the sun, you have black paper. And for the white paper, there is a red one, and we just put away the first skin of the wet paper, and you have white paper.
Wow.
So that you need to know, it's we start the harvest when there is like 20% of this one who is red. So it's for that the white paper is really expensive because it represents only like 5% of the harvest.
Друзья, сейчас будем пробовать зеленый перец.
It's this one, yeah, that you're gonna find with the crabs.
It's spicy.
Yes. You don't like it?
It's really spicy. Острый, друзья, пипец. Woo!
We use lemon, so lemongrass, lemon juice, and we use it only one time a year, like after the harvest. So at the end of May, before the rain season.
So lemon help to kill these bad insects.
Yes.
Wow.
It's really good. And to help the plants to grow up, we have coal. So we use coal poo. And I don't remember the name, but I will tell you later. We use something else. But only things who are natural. Because Kampot paper, you need to be careful. If you go in a market and if you see paper from Kampot, it's not Kampot paper. It's just paper from the region. Because to be Kampot paper, the small ball needs to be 4 millimeters. If it's not, it goes on the bin, or usually it's just bad paper.
Oh, I see.
And we do everything by hand. So at the end, we take each ball like this, and we wash it. And if it's cut or things like that, it goes on a bin or bad paper. We start the harvest at the beginning of March, I think, this year, and we finish at the end of May. And it's good when everything gets finished, even packing. So it takes long time, but they work a lot at this. It's the plantation that we're gonna see. You see, we use organic waste, guano and copo. It's fertilizer, I don't know in English. It's to help people to grow up. We put the water in front of the plants and not in the plants. So there is not water all the time. And you can see there is a lot of more paper here.
Вот такой, друзья, перчик. Red.
Yes.
Это красный перец, вот. Okay.
So there is more than 20%, so we should take it off now, but there is not everywhere, so we'll wait a bit more. French, we used to say paper from Java because it's from Java in Indonesia.
Java. Wow, it's cool. А это, друзья, мы можем наблюдать long pepper, длинный перец. Красивый какой. Is that from this pepper we can make a tea and drink it?
Exactly. You want to try later? We can.
Okay, later.
So when it's ready, it's this color. You want to try?
I'm afraid. В общем, друзья, когда у перца вот такой цвет, это означает, что он готов к употреблению. Его можно срывать и кушать. А такой вот оранжевый еще нет, не готов. В общем, друзья, пробуем следующий перец. Это длинный перец, и он, по-моему, очень острый. Сейчас попробуем, в общем. It's sweet.
Yes, but then it's gonna be strong.
В общем, друзья, сейчас я чувствую такой вот сладкий оттенок, а дальше, по-моему, чувствуется острота.
If you use chili, you can put this one and not chili. And we used to do the harvest like every 2 or 5 weeks. So all the year we can use it. So it's nice. Paper, it's really good because of 3 reasons. The first one is the ground, because there is special minerals here that you can't find anywhere. So it's the first thing. The second one is because we are really close from the sea. So you have the iod in the sea, and it comes here like with the wind. So it's really nice. And because of the water, because we can't use water with pollution, and here we have a lot of water just here. So it's our own water, and the water is really good for this plant. So there is 3 reasons that Kampot paper is really famous. So now you know everything about paper.
Yeah. После интереснейшей экскурсии о том, как выращивают камбоджийский перец, сейчас мы будем дегустировать, в общем, эту продукцию.
So one of the first things we do, obviously you've done the tour, but try this, which is a pepper tea.
Это, друзья, чай из длинного перца. Вот он какой. Никогда не думал, друзья, что из перца можно заваривать чай. Говорят, что он очень положительно влияет на пищеварительную систему, также противодействует раку и вообще очень полезен для организма. На вкус такой чай с небольшой перчинкой.
Good. Well, it's a different type. It's this one, which you've seen at the top, the long pepper. This one you'll see when we go up, because Kampot pepper is the unique pepper. It's the one and only Piper nigrum, which is black pepper, and it originates from India. This one actually comes from Java in Indonesia and also the north of India. So we grow it on the farm along with a few other things, just because the ground here is very unique. The ground is what gives the taste to this pepper that makes it quite special. So obviously Ukraine, Germany, the pepper you've probably used back home is the same plant as this one. There's just something special about the ground here, as the French say, the terroir, which is like a mixture of the climate here. We have a microclimate because we're protected by all the hills. We have the way we look after the soil, so the hydrology of the soil, and also what's in the soil. So in the ground here, there's many minerals, and it's why when you've travelled, it's all very dusty and red because the quartz, the iron, and lots of others. But what it does is give off something unique that comes into the pepper, and therefore the taste seems a lot stronger and more spicier than a normal one. I've got some rice here because we're going to use it as a neutralizer when I give you some peppers to taste. The idea being that if you try a bit, I'm going to put some on your hand, get you to smell it and taste it, and then when you've finished, you just have a spoonful of rice, cleanse your palate, and we'll try the next one. So I'm going to start with this one, which is just a normal black pepper. As I say, it's the same plant. It's just that it doesn't come from Kampot. It will come from Cambodia, but it will be another province. And it's to test between the two, because when you try this one and this one, you'll see a big difference. Okay. So as I say, I'm going to put some on your hand, get you to smell it and taste it, and then just tell me what you think.
Is it black pepper or?
It's black pepper, yeah.
Черный перец, душистый такой.
What happens here is, because Kampot is famous now, it's got what is known as a PGI, which is a protected geographical indicator. It means that we have guidelines on what our pepper should be, so we have to follow them. It's a bit like champagne in France, tea. In Germany you have some good wines in certain good areas. It means that if it comes from a certain area, it has to be protected. You can't copy it. And it's the same for every country. There'll be something in the Ukraine that you produce that is unique to maybe a certain area. Because of all that, our pepper, for our black and our red, have to be around about 4 millimeters. The berries do. They all have to be the same. They all have to be the same colour, same size, and also hold. Whereas what you've got in here is literally just a mixture. So although it looks a bit thingy, there is peppercorns in there. There is small ones, some big ones. A lot of it's broken up, and a lot of it's become powder. Because when they're mass producing the pepper to fill the grinders up, it's a machine that will just fill it up, and a lot of it will get sort of damaged. With Kampot, we do everything by hand. Everything is hand picked and packed individually. So what you've got here is all of the peppercorns will be the same size, and it will make a completely different taste because it's a lot stronger and there's a consistency. All of these peppercorns, roughly 4 millimeters, means the pepper stays the same. Coupled with the fact that the ground, as I say, has got something unique. So if you're still tasting any of that, just have a bit of rice, and then we're going to try the black one.
Нужно перекусить рисом, чтобы это было таким нейтрализирующим средством. Знаете, как духи, вот занюхиваешь кофе, а это нужно заедать рисом. этот запах более такой сильнее, чем предыдущий перец.
The peppers you may get, because the pepper grows all around the world, so it will grow in South America, in Africa, in India, which is where the plant comes from, in Asia, in Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam. However, 70% of the world's pepper, or over 70%, comes from Cambodia and Vietnam. So there's a good chance that the pepper you use on a daily basis actually comes from one of these places. Which means the same plant, but it's, as I say, it's just a different taste because some will be stronger than the others. The fact that all this consistency gives a big difference. One of the things you find with Kampot is you tend to get a taste first and then you get the spice. There's kind of a different level. Whereas with this one, it was probably all together. You get the taste, the spice, and very quickly it dissipates. So on your tongue, you don't feel it. But this one, as even though I'm still talking, you're probably still tasting it. It's a lot stronger. It also means you could use a lot less. So whilst the pepper is more expensive, and it is one of the most expensive peppers, you would use a lot less pepper than what you're used to. If you like your steaks, your meats, your beefs, black pepper will work really well with it, but you don't need to use a lot. They say as a guide, colour of pepper to colour of meat, because it gives you an idea of the spices and the flavours that you get. So black for beef, for steak, make a casserole, a stew, a chili, anything strong, flavoured or meaty, or even vegetables that are strong. Red for pork and lamb, and for a range of vegetables like aubergines, avocados, carrots, roast vegetables, pretty much the whole lot. White for chicken, for fish, but also potatoes, mushrooms, white sauces, clear soups, because it's a balance of what you'll get. And that doesn't mean you can't use white pepper on like a darker meat or black pepper on a lighter meat. It just means as a guide, it gives you a hand on what you can use. It also works really well on fruits. You can put it in ice cream, put it in chocolate, you can put it into any kind of sweet dish, pastas, salads, the full range. You can even put it into alcohol. So red ones, I tried gin, you can use rum, you can use vodka, because obviously I know you guys would like vodka. The downside of the vodka is the red pepper is not too strong. Vodka is a very strong drink, so what we tend to do is with the red pepper we put long pepper in as well, so the one I make the tea with, to give you a different flavour. What you get with this makes a very cheap vodka.
Вау. Друзья, перец можно класть не только в различное мясо, но и водку, шоколад и мороженое. И вот мы видим длинный перец в водке.
So with gin and white rum, the red pepper is perfect because they're both sweeter tastes. Vodka, it's a bit stronger, so sometimes balancing the two. The idea being that if you take a litre of the alcohol, maybe take 20 of the red peppercorns, put them in a litre for maybe 7 days. Try them. If you're happy with the smell and the taste, you take the peppercorns out, drain them out, crush the peppercorns then, and actually because they've still got flavour, they're only like a week old, put them in some ice cream and you'll get a nice flavoured ice cream with a hint of alcohol, and then you have a very nice alcohol that you can drink. Especially if you've got a lady who likes ice cream, then it's a good one to make and she's impressed. So the thing about the red is because it's got such a range, so from pork and lamb to fruits to ice creams to chocolates to alcohol to a whole range of pastas and salads, you can really go and use in a lot of different ways. I've had it in muesli, in porridge, because it's got a sweet taste to it, the skin, the berry itself. So putting it in a full range from sweets to savouries gives you a nice balance. If you haven't had any more, I would definitely have rice because the black is still strong and I'm guessing you're still tasting it. And then we will try the red.
Так, это красный перец.
Completely different to the black.
But also like strongest one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's strange. It has a very powerful smell. But again, it's got that taste and then the after kick, which is the spice.
And no comes the spice,
Yeah. So in your dishes, it's really good. One of the pluses for both black and red is when you put them into food, if you give it maybe a few seconds, you can feel how much pepper you've got in there, and it's a good balance to taste for your cooking. Because it does the same as what's happening on your tongue, you get that feel. When you try white, it's completely different because the white is the pure pepper. You've already seen it, but basically the plant is a trailing vine. It produces a stalk of green berries. And when the green berries become ripe and mature, they turn red. So very similar to a tomato. You get green and red on the same plant. When you have them together, like on our paintings on the wall, you get green and red berries here. It means that that's ready to be collected. That's when our harvest is. And what we would do is then, well, most farms around the world, anyone that grows pepper would just separate the colours. So they separate the green and red. They wash them in boiling water. Your green berries dry black. Your red berries dry red. So that's how you get those two. Your white is your red berries, but instead of drying them, what we do is we soften them first, and then we peel the skin off to get your white pepper underneath. So it's a pure white pepper, which means that when you get to this level, it's stronger in terms of pepper, or more powerful, should I say. So when you try it and you taste it, it brings out a different reaction to your taste buds in your mouth. Because whereas these are seasonings, this actually works in the way that it opens your taste buds. It actually gets you to salivate. So the foods you're about to try, you will taste a bit more, which is why it works really well in the chicken and the fish. Because and even potatoes, because it's quite bland. They've not got huge strengths. They've not got standalone strengths. If you try a steak and then a chicken, the black steak will be a lot stronger, whereas the white chicken is like a lot lighter. But with the white pepper, it brings out more flavour. So it takes a bit longer to come. It will feel differently on your palate, because maybe for 20 seconds you don't feel anything. And then it warms you here and around the sides of your tongue, whereas these tend to start here and work backwards. You have to be careful when you try this, because if you take too much, it's too powerful.
Yeah, okay.
I've had a couple of chefs that have come to the farm, and they both told me the same story, that you use a lot less white than black, because when you're cooking and you put it into your dish, this doesn't have a reaction to the food straight away. So what you find is over a period of time it warms up and gets stronger, whereas these you take straight away. So trying this, you have to be a bit careful, but working both foods and obviously on your palate. So let's try this one.
Черед белого перца. Белый практически не имеет никакого запаха на вкус. Пока нет никакого вкуса.
Feel it?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
goes
now it's coming, yes.
Yeah.
on
And
the
it's,
tongue.
I think it's more powerful. It tends to, when it comes, it tends to hit you more. So apart from those clear soups, a lot of Chinese use it in their broths and their soups because it's clear, and any white sauces you don't see it, it doesn't stand out. You can put it in chocolate, you can put it in other things, but I mean for me it's the meats, it's bringing out flavours. If you have it with a cheese board, so you've got lots of different nice cheeses, if you have some white pepper first and then try the cheese, they say that the cheese will taste a lot stronger and more vibrant because actually the white pepper has opened your taste buds, so it brings out a nice flavour. They are your three dried ones. Off the plant, as I said, you get green and red, so you can get fresh green. You can go to Kep or Kampot and have them in a seafood dish, or a squid, or maybe even a sort of meat dish. The problem is with the green pepper is it will dry very quickly, so after 2 or 3 days it loses its flavour and it dries black, and if you haven't gone through the process of washing and drying it correctly, it loses it. So the only way we can do it, and we found, is we preserve it by packing it in salt. So we strip those green berries, we take them off the stalk, we wash them in cold water, and then we pack them in salt. By doing that, it keeps a year like that. When you open it, all you have to remember is to put them in the fridge and keep them cool, and then hopefully it will last for maybe 3 months. This is different to the others because it's still fresh pepper. What I would say is take a spoon and maybe try 2. You can always have more.
Is it green pepper,
It's
right?
green pepper, yeah. And all it is got salt in to preserve it. So as long as you keep it wet and moist, it stays that way. And what you find is it's a different flavor, it's a different taste, because they're dried. This will be.
Сейчас, друзья, будем пробовать зеленый замаринованный перец.
So with this one, mixing it into a pasta, into a salad, having it with some dried peanuts or some cashews. Pretty much there's a whole range. You can mix it with anything
Острый,
sweet,
такой же острый, как и
mix it
предыдущие.
with anything spicy.
Но
Yeah.
пикантный вкус, потому что он замаринованный.
You've seen it. Obviously, we've had the tea with it. The last one is this one, which is the long pepper or the papali. It produces those stalks of corns, if you like, of pepper. And when they dry, when they're ready to be taken, they are red and they're very soft. when we pick them, we have to dry them, and that's what you get. So those red ones you saw on the plant have now become dried, and they look like that. What you have here is an allspice. It's very flavoursome. You'll taste cinnamon, nutmeg, anise, cardamom, ginger, a full range. When you try it, it's very spicy. It's got a hint of chili, a hint of pepper. So if you want to try it, just take a piece and break off a small piece on the end, roughly the size of a peppercorn, and just chew it, because it does have a lot of flavour.
Yeah.
But it's worth trying because it gives you a different taste.
Чтобы попробовать вот такой длинный перец, его нужно разломать на две части и кусочек пожевать. И тогда почувствуешь всю красоту этого вкуса.
What I love is the fact that it makes a really nice tea, which is kind of good and refreshing. And actually the tea is good for you. Got some more. Maybe 6, 7 of them, break them up. So take a piece like that, and when it's dried, and just snap it into 2 or 3 pieces, add it into hot water, and you leave it to infuse in the water. And then after 4 or 5 minutes it's ready. And the good thing is, if you put enough in, you can actually make it maybe 4 or 5 times.
Ask your name?
Graham.
Graham.
Yeah.
And you are from
I'm from the UK.
UK.
Yep. And
How long have you been here?
I've been travelling since, well, about 16 months, but I came to the farm a year ago as a volunteer.
And you're still here?
Yes. I'm
One
still
year?
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's a nice place. Cambodia is a beautiful country. Kampot is a nice place, and the farm is kind of relaxed and good. Yeah. And all I have to do every day is tell people about pepper, and I get to eat lots of pepper and live with the guys here, which is kind of a nice, relaxed place.
Yeah, we can see, because now you can know everything about this.
Yeah,
you know a lot about taste.
Yeah. The flavors are kind of good. Yeah. And when you get to see it cooked every day, it's kind of nice.
With the wine?
Yeah. The rice wine here is a bit of a different one. I'm not too keen on that. But, they all drank last night, but I passed.
Wow.
Okay. It's a different. I prefer our wines.
Okay, thank you for this interesting journey.
Okay, my
in
pleasure.
Pepper world.
It's good when you can come and the fact that it's become a bit more famous now. People from all over the world are coming to try the pepper.
Many people come here and they know about this. Yeah.
So it's really good.
It was really interesting, yes.
Yeah. Well, when you finish your tea, I will take you up and show you around the farm, and you can have a look around, and we'll show you how the pepper grows. And then you can go back home to Germany, because you have a saying that says, when you don't like someone, it's like you tell them to go where the pepper grows. So you can now say you've been there.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. В сегодняшней экскурсии я узнал, друзья, что хозяин этой фермы шотландец, его жена камбоджийка. Они вместе заведуют этим фермерским хозяйством по выращиванию перца. На плантациях мы можем наблюдать 2 разных сорта перца. Первый — это зеленый, из которого в процессе переработки мы можем получить 3 вида перца. Это черный, красный и белый. Также здесь есть длинный перец, который мы можем использовать для заваривания чая. Представляете себе? И он очень положительно влияет на организм, для пищеварительной системы в целом. Также, что меня очень поразило, друзья, то, что перец можно добавлять не только в мясные продукты, но и в мороженое, шоколад и даже спиртные напитки. Водка, джин. Использование перца просто безгранично, друзья. Я просто узнаю много новой информации для себя, и это меня вдохновляет, друзья. Также на ферме очень много волонтеров из разных стран. Компания предоставляет им жилье и питание. Таким образом, они получают некий опыт здесь. И также они могут путешествовать по Кампоту, ну и за пределами Камбоджи. Это круто, считаю. Атмосфера на этой ферме очень классная. Здесь вот такое небольшое озеро. Повсюду такие маленькие бунгало с гамаками, где можно расслабиться. В общем, круто, друзья. Мне здесь очень нравится. Так что, если вы будете в Камбодже, в окрестностях Кампота, друзья, обязательно посетите одну из плантаций, где выращивают перец. Сейчас, друзья, мы с вами прибыли на другую плантацию перца, называется Plantation. Друзья, эта плантация намного больше предыдущая, и здесь вот видно, что все сделано четко, отлажена работа, все красиво, но мне здесь очень нравится. Здесь, друзья, проходит мастер-класс по приготовке кхмерской еды. Ребята учатся, как готовить эту экзотическую еду. Друзья, мороженое с черным перцем. Это что-то, нечто. Окей, thank you. Thank you. Я заказал себе мороженое фруктовое, также манго-сок. И представляете, это мороженое можно посыпать черным перцем. Такое handmade мороженое стоит $4 и манго-шейк $2,5. Лежат такие вот пальмы. Они закрывают перец от солнца, я так понимаю. Друзья, кто не знал, как растут бананы, можете посмотреть. Вот так они растут на пальме. Зеленый еще. А вот так, друзья, растет passion fruit. На вид как яблоко и растет как виноград на арочке. Очень прикольно. А это вот орехи растут, так по-моему. Пинат. Так, друзья, растут ананасы в земле. Здесь, друзья, расположен такой огромный магазин продукции, которую выращивают на этих плантациях. Так что можно найти все, что душа пожелает. Сейчас мы пришли в один магазинчик, где продают этот перец с плантации. What are you doing now?
We vacuum the flower.
Is it salt
Yeah, flower of salt.
from the sea?
Yeah, from the sea. And we can say this one is very, very pure and clean between Kampot and Cap. So this one is floating like a snow before they become like a flower or like the normal soil or the rock soil. This one is floating.
How to use this salt? Just for food, salad?
Yeah, for food salad, the green pepper, and we make with the flower of salad.
So you just put this salt inside the pepper.
Yeah, we make like a pickle.
And how to eat this pepper? Just
Mostly it's good for both cooking and after cook. Cook both, you use it after cook, then you can taste what is the fresh or steam. It's been like but if you use while you're cooking, it's good for seafood, crab and squid and everything. You can like with noodle, with ice cream, with chocolate. You mix together, it's very nice.
Wow.
Because we can say this one, we harvest it before they have enough juice inside. But when we soak with the salt like a pickle like that, you can keep for 1 year. Open the bag, you can find a jar or glass like that. Keep high in the fridge, so all the peppercorn they will be fresh, the same color. Or if you need like more liquid of salt, you can boiling water, keep it cold, and then you can add more. So all the peppercorn they are the same color. But if you live outside the same earth like that, can be for 3 or 4 weeks. They change to a bit darker and darker. But even they change the color when you keep outside, it's still good.
What's your name?
David.
David. I'm Dennis. Nice to meet you.
Nice.
I have video blog for traveling,
Okay,
so
nice.
that's why I'm interested. Just ask people. Sorry, you're from France,
Belgium.
Belgium,
Yeah.
and you speak French, right?
French and Dutch, yeah.
French and Dutch. Yeah. How it happened that you decided to come here to Cambodia and work in this field?
It's a little bit per by chance actually. When we travel, we like to find a project in every country we go, and so we did one in Myanmar, we did one in Thailand, so we did one here too. We found some projects, but we try actually not to apply before, and so we just showed up here at the shop and we just I say, oh, do you want some volunteers? They say, oh, I don't think so. I think we have enough. It was Chris, the owner, and but it was for the Chinese New Year, so the staff wanted to take some day off, so it was actually perfect timing.
So that's why there was agree to help you, like.
Yeah, and so we said, okay. I was on the phone with the volunteer who manages the volunteers, and he said, oh, actually, if you want to go, you can go right now. And so we grabbed our stuff, we ate fast lunch, and then we left.
Do you want to use this all experience after in your country, or it's just like for fun?
Well, it's more it's for fun. It's an experience because we did a lot of tours. It's also really interesting to learn about myself, because I never did tours and tastings for tourists. I never did that, so it was a good starting point and a good experience to know that okay, I can do that, and it's actually quite nice. And it's also for us when we travel a moment where we can relax. Because when you're always on the road, it can be sometimes very tiring. So it's good from time to time to have a week or two where you can just settle and relax and take your time to do some other stuff, and not always to worry, okay, what am I going to do next, where am I going tomorrow. So that's
take a break and relaxing.
Relax. It's very important, otherwise we would have never home as long as we did for the moment. Well, so next we go to Vietnam. We don't have a project yet. We have sent some emails, but we'll see when we get there. So it's always nice to find, and sometimes it's just by traveling and meeting people, and people telling you about the project. Oh, I did this, I did that. You should go and have a look. Actually, we weren't sure about volunteering in a pepper farm. We had some other projects working in a school here in Kampot. But before we arrived here, we were in Cap, and we visited the farm, Sotis farm, and there were also volunteers. And so we talked to them, and it looked to be very nice. And so we didn't know if we go to Sotis or to Botry, but by walking here into the shop, they say, okay, you can come, let's go, let's move. And it was really nice experience.
It's funny because before I didn't know that from paper you can make a tea. For me it's something like unbelievable.